Good afternoon. This is the continued read aloud for Hero, our book that we're reading right now. This is chapter 2 of Hero. Oversized brown eyes gazed up at him, them filled with fear, looking from Hero to Ben and back again. The eyes were set in the face of a tiny, fuzzy puppy. His fur was a golden brown and he had a black snout, 2 white paws and a white chest. One ear pointed straight up and the other flopped down over his cheek. The dog's nose was twitching, working overtime to take in the new scent of Ben and Hero. Hero barked. With a frantic yip, the puppy scooted backwards and bumped into a wide tree trunk. Trapped, he began to whimper, and his small body shook uncontrollably. He kept his eyes locked on Hero and Ben. "Hero, quiet. It's okay, pup," Ben said softly, trying to sound as calm and friendly as possible. What are you doing out here?" Ben knelt down and held out his hand. The puppy eyed his fingers but stayed where he was. Ben took a closer look at the little guy. His fur was dirty and matted. He had a deep scratch across his nose that was starting to heal, and a couple of patches of dried blood were on his back. It looked like the pup had been bitten and maybe even clawed, and he was skinny, too skinny. Ben could see his ribs. He definitely hadn't had enough to eat. Ben slipped his backpack off his shoulder slowly, trying not to startle the puppy. He unzipped it and pulled out the remains of a ham sandwich he hadn't finished at lunch. Ben unwrapped the soggy parcel and held out his hand. "Do dogs even like ham sandwiches?" he thought. The puppy caught a whiff and he straggled his tail, wagging back and forth in the grass. "Come on, boy," Ben said softly. The pup took one, then another tentative step forward, desperate for the food. Ben broke off a small piece of ham and tossed it into the grass. The puppy looked up at Ben, then at Hero, then back down at the food. He lunged forward, snatching the meat from the ground. He looked at Ben, ready for more. Ben tossed another small piece into the grass. The pup gobbled it up. Ben smiled and dropped the rest of the sandwich right at his own feet. The puppy scampered over it and scarfed it down. "When was the last time you had anything to eat?" Ben said quietly. The puppy looked up at him and whimpered as he swallowed the last of the sandwich. "Sorry, pal," Ben said. "I don't have any more." The puppy drooped to the ground, rolled onto its back, and flopped from side to side, snorting a little. Hero watched the puppy wiggle for a moment. He looked up at Ben, waiting for command. Ben shrugged. "You want to check him out, huh, Hero?" Hero just blinked at Ben. "All right," Ben said. "Go on, Hero." Hero stepped over and sniffed at the smaller dog. The puppy lay still on his back, resting a paw on Hero's snout while Hero sized him up from head to tail and back again. Next to Hero, the small dog looked even tinier. He was hardly bigger than Hero's head. Ben saw another wound, on the dog's stomach. This one definitely looked like a bite mark. Ben's dad had mentioned something about stray dogs showing up in the area with these kinds of injuries lately. The police had been able to catch a couple of them and said they were probably being used in a dogfighting ring. This guy was way too little to be a fighter, but maybe he was being used as a bait dog to get the bigger, meaner dogs riled up. And if he was, did that mean this little puppy belonged to whoever ran the ring? Or had he just dumped him out on the street when they were done with him? Ben wasn't sure which option was worse. Hero raised his head from the pup. The little dog clambered to his feet and nipped at Hero's neck. Hero ignored the bite and nudged at the puppy with his snout. The little dog dropped back down onto his belly and lowered his head while Hero licked him, cleaning his face and neck. "Aw, Hero, that's nice of you, buddy," Ben said. The puppy had his eyes closed and was totally relaxed. Hero lay down on the grass right next to the puppy and scanned the woods around him, as if he were on watch. Ben had to laugh. Hero was protecting the puppy the way he usually protected Ben. "Well, look at you two," Ben said. "It's like you've known each other forever, huh?" Ben studied the dog. Even though they were different colors and had different markings, the puppy kind of looked like Hero. His head was the same rectangular shape with the same long snout, and the puppy's paws were huge, a giveaway that he'd be as big as Hero someday. He was probably a mutt, but he definitely had some Labrador in him. "Where's your family, little guy?" Ben asked. He slowly reached out his hand. He waited for the pup to sniff his knuckles, like his dad had taught him. But the little dog pulled his head away, keeping his distance. He was obviously afraid of people, but he felt comfortable with Hero. Someone must have been really mean to him. The pup tipped his head to the side and sniffed at Ben's backpack, probably hoping for more food. Ben felt terrible, but he and Hero needed to get home. They were going to have to leave the puppy here. Come on, Hero, Ben said. Hero looked at him but didn't get up. Hero, come, we have to get home. Hero didn't budge. We'll come back tomorrow with some more food for the puppy, Ben said. But if we don't get home now, my parents are going to kill us. Come. Hero stood up, but he looked down at the puppy and started to whine. The puppy hopped up and tucked himself between Hero's front legs under his chest. Both dogs looked up at Ben. Ben couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was Hero refusing to leave without the puppy? He looked from one dog to the other while he tried to figure out what to do. Oh, Hero, my parents are going to be mad at me if we're late. What do you think you're going to do if what do you think they're going to do if I'm late and I bring home another dog? The dogs just stared at him. Ben shook his head. Oh, man. Okay. We'll take the puppy home with us. Ben pulled Hero's harness out of his backpack and put it down on the ground. Carefully, he adjusted the buckles to make it as small as possible. He held up the harness and reached for the puppy. But the little dog let out a high-pitched growl and backed away from Ben. Hero nudged the puppy toward Ben with his nose. The puppy stumbled reluctantly forward, Hero right behind him. Ben slowly stretched out his hand again. This time the pup sniffed him in the harness. Ben gently lowered the harness over the pup's head. He swiped one tiny paw at the nylon straps and scooted backwards, trying to get out of it. Hero licked the puppy's head as if to reassure him that it was okay. After a moment, the puppy accepted the harness and sat down. It was loose, but it would work. Ben turned to Hero. You happy now, bud? Hero wagged his tail and let out a short, happy bark. I thought you'd say that. Ben clipped Hero's leash to the harness. He tugged on it lightly. The puppy resisted and tried to bite the strap. Ben tugged again. Okay, pal, up you go. The puppy stood and Hero rose to its feet, standing at Ben's side. I think he needs a name, don't you, Hero? Ben looked at the puppy and then back at Hero. Ben thought of all the people his dog had saved over the years. He thought of how Hero could sniff out trouble and find people in danger. He thought of all the times Hero and his dad had put their lives on the line to help others. Maybe the puppy belonged to someone else, and maybe they would have him only for a day. But Hero had tracked the pup into the woods, had saved him, and instantly taken a liking to him. It was almost like the pup was a tiny version of the older man. And what was Hero? A searcher, a rescuer? Ben ran through all the words that popped into his head until he came to the right one. Scout, Ben said quietly, trying out the name. It felt right. Scout, he repeated, louder this time. Ben started walking, Hero followed, and Scout waddled along behind him. The little dog took 4 wiggling steps for every one of Hero's, his short legs working overtime. Come on, Hero, come on, Scout, Ben said to the pair. We're going home. All right, that concludes Chapter 2. Please make sure you're filling in your graphic organizer. It was in the email to your parents that also has the links to YouTube. You can also search me on YouTube and find me that way as well. Okay, so make sure for every chapter you're filling out your graphic organizers. All right, thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow.